When you think like an athlete, setbacks don't stop you. But mindset alone doesn't get you moving again. That's where Icy Hot steps in. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. So when the rest of the world settles because of a setback, Icy Hot accelerates your comeback with fast-acting, powerful pain relief. Icy Hot. You're so back.
Hey, John Stamos and Cologuard here. So look, you're 45 or older and at average risk. You know what? That probably means it's time for colon cancer screening. Look, it doesn't start at 55 or 50 or even 46. If you're 45, you've got to prioritize getting screened because if it's found early, it's highly treatable. So get going. See if Cologuard is the right test for you.
Half Man, the new HBO original limited series from Baby Reindeer creator Richard Gadd, examines the tumultuous relationship between two estranged brothers, tracking the highs and lows of the pair over the course of 40 years. Starring Emmy Award winner Richard Gadd and BAFTA Award winner Jamie Bell. Half Man premieres April 23rd on HBO Max.
Couch Chronicles No Limits on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Pandora. Make sure that you subscribe because there's times where I go live around the time that I say I'm not going to be live. Like, I might go live early, like 7. Or I might go live at, you just never know what time I'm going to go live. So make sure that you subscribe. Once you subscribe, hit the post notifications. That way you never miss a couch. You don't want to miss what we're going to be talking about. You don't want to miss who's coming onto the couch. And you never know what you might hear that might resonate with you. So, I see the Facebook is starting to come up. I'm actually very emotional about tomorrow. Because this is a huge case. To me, this is someone's life is missing. And to hear the details and to hear the leading up until is just mind-boggling, you know. So we're going to get into that. Again, any episode that you miss, do know that even if you don't see me live, that the Couch Chronicles No Limits podcast is a podcast. That means that you'll be able to hear it no matter if you don't see it. You don't have to see to understand or hear what's going on, right? So subscribe to the Spotify, the Pandora, and the Apple Podcasts. That way you never miss a couch. The best ways that I feel like we could stop the violence is I said this before, but it starts at home. You know, kids, they see and they mimic what they learn from us as adults. And even though I personally don't have any kids, that doesn't mean that kids aren't watching me. That doesn't mean that kids don't know what's going on. That doesn't mean that kids might not follow me, because there might be kids that follow me right now. I know my nieces and nephews sometimes. They be watching me. Not all the time. I'm not saying that they be keeping up with the couch or nothing, but sometimes they do see the couch, and sometimes they friends see the couch because, you know, I'm in the mix, so they gonna be talking shit, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, that's my auntie. So we influence the younger generation, whether they want to admit it or not, or whether we want to admit it or not. Because once they are locked in, they don't even have to let you know that they locked in. They watching, they peeping, they just like we, you know, you'll hear a new mom say, wow, my baby is smart, or kids are smart, you know. They pay attention to everything. Well, they really do pay attention to everything. So don't get it twisted thinking that they're not paying attention to you because you're not talking loud or because you're not in the same room as them. No, they paying attention to everything that you saying and that you doing. Because they like, this is my mom, this is my dad, this is who I'm looking up to. And heaven forbids that they're on social media. Because once they get on social media, then now it's not just them watching you. They're also watching other adults. And some adults that aren't censoring what they say and do on the internet because they're not concerned about if they're influencing your kid or not. NBA Youngboy isn't concerned that he's influencing your kid to maybe be a gangbanger or want to be a slime, whatever they be saying. Now these kids want to be just like other adults, unbeknowingly to you, because you don't know. Like, how do you know? Are you really keeping up with your kids? Are you really watching everything they do? And even if you have, parental censors on, like YouTube, on, the phone, that doesn't mean that they can't get access to the bullshit. Because the bullshit is specifically put out there for them to get access to. So it's not hard for them to find. It's not hard for them to come up on at all. So you can censor everything that you want away from your kids. That is not going to stop the fact that there are other adults that are leaving a long-lasting impression and influence on the younger generation. The best we can do is, one thing about it is, to me, personally, if you're going to be singing, rapping, or talking about something, at least make sure that you've been through that. At least make sure that you actually can give the good, bad, and in between on it. Make sure that you can say, hey, this is what I went through. And it might not, if you go through it, it might not end up the same way with you like it did for me. And now you have to explain these things to your children. Because you don't know who's influencing your children. You don't even know what your children are listening to. Because you can have them listening to Kid Bop all day. Then when they get in school, it's Tupac. It's NBA Youngboy, 50 Cent. Whoever these kids are playing. They're not getting to the school like, yo, I can't play this song because my mom's or my dad. No, they're playing it. And influence also is in music and video games, in the household. Don't think you're getting away with being slick, thinking that you fighting your spouse or your boyfriend. Some of y'all not even married, and you still fighting in front of your children. Boyfriends, girlfriends, people that's not going to be there for the long run. Yet you're exposing your children to the toxic behavior that you grew up around. And a lot of us, we like, yo, I'm never going to let my kid go through that. Never. We say this. And then some of us end up the same way as our parents. Not just the same way, but doing the same thing. Or maybe not even the same exact way that they did it, but something similar. Your kid ain't growing up in a grand environment. It's just as hostile as it was whenever you was growing up just in a different type of way. If we want to influence these children, you cannot hide them from everything. And I know that probably sounds ass backwards. But if you hiding something from your children, how many times have you been a child and your parents hid something from you, a situation, something, anything, and you went intentionally looking for it or trying to figure it out? And you either ended up feeling worse than before you found out, or feeling some type of way. And it's fucked up because you, whoa, hold on. I'm trying to protect my children. But then you get to thinking about how you was as a child. You didn't just let things go. You went looking and found out the answer to whatever you was looking for. So what makes you think that your children aren't doing the same thing? They're going out to look and find what you were doing. What influenced you to do what you did, to be who you are, or be in the same areas that you said that you was in. This is what you told them. And shame on you if you've never really been through this stuff and you just making this stuff up just to make your children love or feel for you. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. How are you expecting your children not to do the same as you? You might be the perfect example for your children right now. You might be. Seriously, you might be. But the other adults around your children, including the teachers, some of these teachers is like YNs too. Like, respectfully, not like, I mean, like, some of these teachers is young. Let me say it like that. Let me not say YNs. Some of these teachers are young. They thinking some of them is just a little bit older than these other kids that they teaching. So they're not thinking to be the perfect. Some of them are. Don't get me twisted. Some of them are. But they're not always thinking to be the perfect example. You don't know which adults are around your kids that aren't perfect examples, that aren't censoring things around your children. You don't know. Because you're not watching your children 24/7, 32/6. So if we really actually want to stop the violence, okay. I do want to say this. If it's lagging on Facebook, it is the weather. I am streaming on Bigo, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and you can also listen. Just listen, not even see, on Spotify, Apple, and Pandora at Couch Chronicles No Limits. I do apologize if it is lagging, but it's not about the visual. It's about the message. So a lot of times we like, you know, we want to stop the violence. We want to stop the this. We want to stop that. And it's not even just stop the gun violence anymore on the couch. It's stop the violence, because violence starts at the homes. Some of these kids get their behaviors from what they seen their parents doing. Even though the parents were censoring it or trying to shield them from it, you still couldn't hide the fact that you slapped your mama, that your daddy slapped your mama upside the head, or bust her lips, or blacked her eyes. And so now, when little Charles grows up, now he's being abusive to his girlfriend, Brittany. And he can't help it because that's all he's seen growing up. Oh, you talking back? Psh, that's how I know how to handle it. My parents used to slap me in my mouth whenever I used to talk back. So why can't I slap you in your mouth when you're talking back? What are you talking back to me for? Why are we in that mentality? these children are in relationships, beating their boyfriends and girlfriends because of what they're learning from home. And then Charles, now he's growing up. Now that he's older, now he's 18. Now he's working at a real job. And he still doesn't know how to handle his anger. Someone makes him mad, the manager. And instead of talking it out, little Charles, which is now Big Charles, shoots his manager in the face. Now Charles is on his way to prison. And his parents ain't going to be riding with him or having his back. Or now they might even be changed in their lives. Ain't it crazy how your parents, they raise you in a toxic environment, and then when it's time for you to actually start stepping in your shell, they change all of their ways. And then, no, I'm serious. I know this probably sounds fucked up, but it was crazy because I grew up in a toxic environment, and then my parents changed their ways and went the Christian way. And then it wasn't just the toxic behavior and the stuff that came with it, but it was the faking. Now, acting like everything is good just because we're Christians. What? Your parents are the biggest influence in your life, whether you want to believe it or not. And then after that, it's an adult that intrigues you. And I'm talking to you, children. Whatever child can hear this, whatever teenager can hear this, your parents are your very first influence. And then after that, it's whatever adult that's around you that intrigues you the most. Because whoever intrigues you, that's what you want to be, sound, and look like. Because to them, they're cool. To you, they're cool. And you're like, whoa, there's something about them that I want to do. Not realizing that this same person that you're following behind, that you were influenced by, not none of your parents' friends, just a parent that you might have met along the way, some way, somehow, at a library, wherever. You're following behind their every footstep and not even realizing that they're in a gang. And they're actually teaching, molding, and shaping you to be a gang member without even physically shaping you to be a gang member. Unintentionally shaping you to be a gang member. Unintentionally shaping you to be an abuser. Unintentionally shaping you to be a psychopath. I'm not saying put your children in a box. I'm saying get to know your children because you don't know who else is getting to know them. Get to know your children because you don't know who is putting a bug in their ear, and you might have to put another bug in their ear just to push that other bug out. Because what the fuck is you telling my baby? What the fuck is you teaching my baby? And then some of the parents, they don't know until it's too late. And that too late is your child done caught a case. Some of these children don't even get to turn the age of 16, 17, 15, 14 because they've caught a case at a young age. At a very young age. And I'm a witness to that because I've caught a case at 17. And before that, there was people that were in prison before me that went in at 14, 15, 16. And it wasn't that their parents didn't raise them in a good environment or that they didn't raise them good or the best way that they could. But we don't know who was influencing the kids. I know for one thing, when I was growing up, not only was I being physically abused and sexually abused at home, but the influence that was around wasn't any good either. The adults that was around, the grown men They didn't give a fuck that I was 13, 12, 11. They still wanted to fuck me. They still told me that my pussy is probably tight. At the age of 12, hearing that your pussy is probably tight, not even really comprehending what the word pussy even means. What? You have no idea what adult is even making your child feel uncomfortable, or peer pressuring your child or young adult that might be going into being an adult, or a child that's being raised by adults that are raising them to be adults, not even raising them to be children, raising them to be just like them. So you got this grown-ass child trying to teach your young-ass child how to do the stuff that this grown-ass person taught them how to do. Influence is everything. Influence, it can spark everything, or it can stop. Stopping the violence. I'm talking gun violence. I'm talking gang violence, domestic violence, child abuse. That's violent. The only way that we could stop that is by influence. If you know somebody is easily persuaded to do something, anything, no matter what it is, why would you influence them to do something wrong when they already are easily influenced? That's your opportunity to influence them to do the right thing, to learn the right thing, to be the right person in life. You can be the reason why someone's path, why they learned their path before they supposed to. Some people don't know until they in their 30s, 40s. You might can help somebody, a child, learn their path beforehand, because you're not allowing them to be influenced by everyone and everything, because you teaching them how to strengthen their mind. That way, if they do come around somebody that's trying to influence them and you're not around, guess what? They good. You've prepared them for that. So instead of trying to protect your children from the bullshit, prepare them for the bullshit. You have to. If you don't prepare them, then guess what? They will never know. They will never be ready. They will always fail. No matter how successful they might be for how long, they will always fail if they have the wrong influence around them. Regardless. It's very sad. It's very heartbreaking. It's very disheartening. It's very sad to see that right now the world is going to shit. Right now, it's so much shit that's happening. And what can we do to stop it? How can we stop the domestic violence? Well, I mean, if you know somebody that you've even, and this is the fucked up thing about it, is some of you guys can hear that your friend, your brother, your dad, somebody that's close to you is doing the abusing, and you steady trying to convince yourself that this isn't the person that the people are trying to paint. And really it is. What you need to do, instead of trying to act like you don't know what's going on, is trying to help what's going on. If you know that your friend is being domestically abused by their spouse, might even be your brother, and you like, well, I'm not going to get into it because it's a domestic and da-da-da-da-da. No. When it comes to me, when I think about being a human, when I think about being on this earth and what we're meant to do, we're not meant to watch people get abused, hurt, or put in situations to where they can't protect themselves. If you are able, then you are supposed to be the protector, not just of your children, but of the world, of not just of white people or Mexicans or black people, but of everyone. Everyone. If I see any of my friends being abused, I'm going to do everything in my power to get them out of that situation. Period. And I know that it's hard to get somebody out of that situation when they don't want to get themselves out of it. But sometimes they need that person to continue being an advocate for them and showing them that, hey, you have someone here that cares about you and wants you to survive. You don't have to put up with the abuse from your family, from your husband, from your wife, from your girlfriend, from your boyfriend, from your children, and children from your parents. It starts there. A lot of people who are abusive to their women or men or children or murderers or rapists, no excuse for what they're doing, but a lot of them have firsthand went through the trauma of what they're bringing on to other people. The trauma that they're bringing on to other people, they learned that from someone else by putting that somebody else putting that trauma onto them in their head, in their life, in their path. Jonathan's mom might have been raping him since the cradle. And now Jonathan is a rapist. Now he has to file as a sex offender. And it's not because he wanted to be this person. It's because that was what was bred into him. Jonathan didn't want to abuse his wife and kill her. Jonathan watched his dad beat his mom up his whole life. Now look at Jonathan. And I'm not saying that everybody turns out the same. I'm saying that influence can happen to people that are easily influenced. And even if they play like they're strong and nothing's going on, 9 times out of 10, they are being influenced by you or someone around them. So stopping the violence, that starts with influence. And I don't know how many times I can say this. Thank you for the hearts. I don't know how many times I can say this. Some people intentionally influence children, especially if, and I know that y'all probably gonna be like, she lying. Let me tell y'all how deep it gets. Say you had an enemy and y'all was both in the game, but you changed your life. You changed your life. You had kids, you got married. Say when your kid turned 15, they just so happen to be at a store, and your enemy, you not knowing because you changed your life, and you thinking that because you changed your life, that your enemy's supposed to change their life, or that your enemy's supposed to be okay because you changed your life, and that's not who you are. No. Your enemy has been watching you this whole time. Now your kid, 15, 16, 17, and they watching them, and they putting them under their wing because they know that you ain't really watching your child. You ain't really taking care of your child. Let me put him under my wing, or let me put her under my wing. And if you're wondering, how did your child get this influence, and where did this influence come from? Your enemy specifically set out to befriend your child, or even sent their child to befriend your child so they could ruin your child's life. And if you think it's not a real thing, baby, you better go watch Raising Cain. You better go watch Ghost. I'm just saying. I know I don't drink that water like that, but it's real as fuck. It's really happening. And sometimes it might not even be an enemy. Sometimes it might just be somebody who is miserable in life. Someone who's still scarred from being influenced as a child for them. Now they want to influence every child that they come across, that they feel like needs a mom and daddy figure in their life. That's why it's a lot of pimps that's out there that literally are watching and scoping little girls, children, even little boys. And some of these children now are child abusers, domestic abusers, murderers, gang members. How do we stop it? By protecting the influence, by watching the influence, by being aware of the influence. That's the best we can do. And pray. We can talk until we're blue in the face, but who's going to listen? And even if they listen, who's going to take heed? We have to do better with watching the influence around us and the children around us, even if it's not your children. Remember back in the day when a child would be doing something wrong in front of another adult and that adult could beat them? I'm not saying beat another person's child. I'm saying protect another person's child like it's your own. If you see something happening, influence, if you recognize the signs, speak up. Speak out. We are the only thing that can stop the violence and our influence. So what influence do you choose? What influence do you choose to be to other people? What influence are you? Who are you? What example are you leading? And what are you allowing to happen around you? That's where it starts. If you're just now tuning in, it's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. I do this every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 Central Time, and every Wednesday and Friday from 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So if you guys aren't busy, I will see y'all in the morning at 9:30. If you're watching on Facebook, and you're wondering, damn, she getting off early. I've been live for a while, but Facebook has been trying to catch up. You can always go back, rewatch, or re-listen to any of the streams that you've missed. I know the other day I was live on Facebook, and it only played 7 minutes of my live, but it showed me right in front of my face that the live was on the whole time, but it only cut off at 7 minutes, which is okay, because I'm live on other platforms. So if it ever stops, if it's ever lagging, if you ever can't hear, you'll always be able to hear on Spotify, Apple, and Pandora, no matter what. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the morning.